Hey students, welcome back to our channel, They Study Shade. And in today's video, we are back with the third part for the chapter Soil, which we were to discuss. And today we'll be completing this chapter, and so it'll be easy for you to learn and complete this whole lesson. So before I start, I would like you to subscribe to my channel, like, share, comment, and ask your doubts in the comment section. So let's get started. So yes, we were to discuss soil erosion. So soil erosion may be defined as the detachment and transportation of soil by agents of denudation such as weathering, running water, wind, etc. Now what soil erosion is basically moving or removal. It's like getting away or getting removed from a place which there should be, like just like our dead cells or dead cells in the skin gets removed. Similarly, the soil erosion is such a thing where the soil gets detached from the upper layer of the earth. So it's not a good thing, it's actually a negative thing which takes place due to wind, water and other factors in the climate or in the region. So yes, see, the depletion of soil and its nutrients is further speeded up by the faulty and unscientific methods of farming. So basically, soil erosion takes place due to many reasons, and one of the reasons is obviously unscientific method of farming. Farming is related to soil and farming is interrelated. So obviously, if there's something which is going wrong in the process or technique of farming, it will have a negative impact on the soil. So soil erosion thus occurs when there is a rate of removal of soil particles and nutrients in excess of the rate of soil of formation. Like when there is increase in removal but there is no increase in making the soil, or like soil is not being formed but it is getting removed more than it's getting formed, obviously there will be removal. Just like in our body, whenever there is dead cells being removed, equally million times of new cells are formed at that moment of time. That's why we never see our skins missing, but soil formation takes a long period of time. So if it's not formed at the rate of removal, obviously there will be depletion of soil. So yes, now we come to the reasons why soil erosion takes place and the basic factors. Whenever there is soil erosion, it can be eroded by running water, it can be eroded by wind, it can be eroded due to human factors. One of the main reasons is running water. So when it comes to running water, there is two types of erosion. One is the gully erosion and one is the sheet erosion. So let's talk about it in a broad aspect. So what sheet erosion is, when there is a torrential rain or heavy downpour. Torrential rain looks like a lot of rainfall. It's like that place receives a very huge rainfall, or some due to some factor it's raining a lot. I'm not talking about drizzling. It's like raining cats and dogs. So when it rains, like in such places like Assam, Northeast India, where there is more of orographic rainfall taking place, the steep slopes stimulate the erosive power of the rain, causing sheet erosion over vast stretches of land. It means a whole layer of soil just gets down or it like flows away. Wait. See, I have a picture in front of you. This is basically the soil erosion which takes place. It's the sheet erosion. See, the whole land is like a slopey area, and when there's rainfall at a very high speed, it just slopes down or just falls off. There's no thing which can hold the soil, therefore the soil just flows down. So plains, just because they're flat lands, they don't experience much of sheet erosion such as Ganga Plain, Damodar, Brahmaputra. The damage done by sheet erosion is tremendous, resulting in rugged topography. Obviously, when there's like a flat slope which is getting denuded or getting eroded, obviously there will be a difference in the structure and it will cause a uneven or rugged topography, or what you would say, or rugged landform. So in fact, heavy rainfall is more destructive than the amount of same precipitation over a longer period of time. Like, there's a place where you get hurt all the time. If you get a severe injury at one day, it will be a lot more painful than you getting that same injury in small bits. Like, one ant biting at a time will not be as painful as a dog biting you. So obviously, see the amount. Whenever there's rainfall, one whole day it's continuously raining, you will have a flood. But if that same amount of rain is spread over a week, you won't have flood in your area. So that's what we are talking about here. Whenever there is a heavy rainfall, the destructive or the destruction caused by it is much more than the same amount of precipitation taking over a long period of time. See, I have a picture in front of you which is speaking about this. See, it's very nicely shown with the splash of the erosion. These diagrams are not there in your textbook, so it will be easy for you to, visualize this image. It will be really easy for you to remember. We come to the second type of erosion by water, which is the gully erosion. It takes place when water runs down or gushes in distinct paths, forming hills which deepen to form ravines or gullies leading down to bedrock. So this creates a bad land. Now, what am I talking about? Bad land? It's like a land which cannot be used again or cannot be used for further agriculture. Obviously, land is used for agriculture or for shelter. Now, shelter obviously won't take place, but even for agriculture, it creates a bad land which will not help us anymore economically. Like the Chambal Valley, it obviously experiences a lot of gully erosion. That's why this area has a problem, or it usually gets affected due to the erosion of running water. See, there's an image in front of you which is showing how there's like an incision, or what you would say a ground being dug by the high speed running water, causing the land to have a decay or kind of a depression in between, which affects the whole area or the whole land. So see, there's the plow lines here, there's agricultural taking place, and all of a sudden if there's a gully kind of a decay, obviously the land becomes a bad land, not for use. So I have an image in front of you which is like an example for you to see. This is kind of a gully erosion which takes place. See, it creates a dead end which ruined this land. This place could have been used for terrace farming or what you would say slope farming, but now no, because of the gully erosion taking place at simultaneous times, this place has created a bad land. So now it's a very risky area which has been formed due to the gully erosion. Now we'll be talking about soil erosion by wind. Wind erosion is a natural process that moves soil from one location to another by wind power. So it causes a significant economic and environmental damage. Wind erosion can be caused by light wind that rolls soil particles along the surface through to a strong wind that lifts a large volume of soil particles into the air to create dust storms. For example, Rajasthan. So this kind of erosion which we are talking about mostly takes place in the arid areas or the deserts, because the soil particles there are very fine, just like sand. So those are not held by this soil. It keeps flying just with the light wind. So just like sand, when we hold it in our hand, one fist full of sand, you hold it in the wind, it will fly off. Similarly, this takes place simultaneously or continuously in the desert areas. There's wind being blown and the soil particles get removed. This is what happens, or we are describing in the soil erosion by wind. See, here's an image for you. Both a real image and a diagram. There's wind, and the wind causes the soil particles to just fly up or get transported. Whenever there's a loose soil or not held by the roots of the plants, it will cause the erosion by wind, because nothing is holding them back. It's like they can just move away. Now we see the human factors for the soil erosion. Obviously, increase in population has to be a reason in India at least. It is due to the increase in demand of land, because whenever there's an increase in population, there will be increased demand for shelter area. So there will be a demand of land to build houses, buildings. So obviously the land gets used up. Then there's overgrazing. Now overgrazing is basically, cattle and herds having grasses at every place too much amount of time. Like a group of herds are made to graze at one place for a long time. What will happen is that all the grasses will get over, and that land will become useless land, because there will be no grass and no cultivation taking place. This creates a very bad effect. That's why what people are recommended, or usually the herdsmen are recommended, is to take their herd, their cattle to different places for grazing, so that one specific land is not affected due to this. The another one is improper techniques of cultivation. Obviously, whenever you cultivate or you continue with your agriculture in the wrong way, it will have a bad impact on the land. And the last one and the most common reason is deforestation, or cutting down of plants or trees. Obviously, the last point or the first point is kind of interrelated, because obviously whenever there is a increased demand of land, there will be increase in deforestation or cutting down of forest areas, and it will cause soil erosion to take place. Now next is, obviously when there is a problem, we need to find a solution to it. So we'll discuss the main ways to conserve soil or stop the soil erosion to take place. So the first few points are: ensure the maintaining of soil by providing high level nutrients and organic matters. It means not to make the soil infertile. Obviously, whenever the soil turns infertile due to the absence of nutrients, the soil will become useless. People will stop farming in that land, and obviously that land will become a bad land. Second is strip cropping and terrace farming. This usually takes place in the hilly regions. People are recommended to, use this method more and more, so that the lands get used or become a fertile area. Zooming or slash burn of crops. This is usually taking place in most of the villages, where what they use whenever they want to remove that land, or the work is done, they just burn the crops. That has a bad impact on the soil, because a lot of ash has been formed, carbon monoxide is formed, and other type of nutrients, what not called nutrients, chemicals are formed, which are not good for the soil. They have a negative effect on the soil. So that's why zooming or slash burning is not recommended by the government or by the agricultural department. The last one at this page is sheet erosion should be prevented by growing more trees and grass. What you would call is a shelter belt. Like the plants or the trees will hold the soil and prevent the water to flow down with the soil. The trees will create a holding connection with the soil. It will hold the soil and not allow the soil to get just flashed away or removed with the water flowing by. The next point is waterlogged areas or saline soil should be reclaimed for cultivation. Obviously, there is a lot of technique to be used, but people are recommended to use it so that no land goes waste. Overgrazing is obviously a problem, so it should be prevented. One land should not be overexploited. Forest land should be protected. A special fire line corridor should be made to prevent forest fire hazards. It's obviously whenever there's a collision of rocks and suddenly a forest fire is created, that cannot be stopped. But obviously, whenever there's a corridor made, it will prevent the fire to get spread from one tree to other tree, if there's a distance in between, a small distance even will save a huge amount of hazard taking place. So this is a very important point. Whenever there's a corridor made or a space made in between, it will prevent the fire from spreading. And the last point is rural development, people's participation and awareness of ecological programs associated with agroforestry. Obviously, the tribal people or the people living in villages, they should be made educated. Our farmers should be made educated so that the work done by them should be also eco-friendly and for the benefit of our nature. The celebrations like Van Mahotsav and other environment day, they should be encouraged to plant more and more trees, increase the amount of forest in the country, and also taking up natural methods for agriculture so that both the nature and human beings are benefited at the same time. So the last point which I've mentioned is, kind of examiner's favorite. If you're asked and you mention this point, you will get a full marks out here. And usually I recommend you to write this point as the first point because this is a very important point. So if a question comes like what is the government steps or what should the government take as a step to, remove soil erosion or not let soil erosion to take place, this point should be mentioned. So now next is the mechanical measures, like how mostly the farmers or the people who are cultivating should keep in mind to ensure soil erosion not to take place is contour plowing, contour bunding, plugging of gullies in ravines. Now plugging of gullies in ravines is like whenever there's a gully formed, if that gully is not blocked or not stopped, it will continue to flow and decay the land around it. So, that land should be filled up with a bit of soil so that, gully does not take place or does not destroy the land nearby. Drought prone area or the area which are succumb to drought should be taken care of, and they should be used up for cultivation so that drought stops, that the land becomes useful. The protection of fragile mountain ecosystem should be implemented. Obviously, as I had said, mountain ecosystems, they tend to sheet erosion. They should be protected by terrace farming and other methods so that they are not affected much. So with this, we come to the end of the chapter soil. I have done 3 videos on this chapter. I have put the link to the other 2 videos in the description box. Also, you can see it at the end screen. I would recommend you to go through the videos once again so that your concept is very clear. We'll soon come up with a question answer session for soil, and we'll come up with other videos of soil. And also, I would recommend you to go through other videos, other subjects. I have placed computer, I have placed biology for these subjects. Economic subject will soon come up with our teachers, and till then I would like you to subscribe to my channel, like this video, comment, share it with your friends. Also, you can ask your doubts in the comment box. I will surely answer to it. Thanks for watching and keep learning.